Get this thing going here. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for showing up today. As you can see on your screen, we got a good one for you today. Oh man, we're going to talk about some commercial real estate. Before we go any further, I'm glad that you can hear me, see me, because I see people are starting to put in the chat where you're coming from. If you haven't done that where you are, go ahead and put that in the chat. Keith Jones, I'm out of Virginia. If it wasn't for Scott Buckles, oh my goodness, we wouldn't be having this. He had the vision of putting together this thing called real estate investors communicating with each other, sharing their deals that they're currently doing right now. We're not talking about like way in the past. We're talking about they currently in action. And he had this vision way before COVID. And I want to thank him and say, thank you, Scott, for putting this together because it's a lot of encouragements that we get from this. We see how people are doing things. We have these questions where we can come together. It's not like TV where we have all these questions, but we can't ask. Well, you can ask, but the TV's not going to talk back to you. But here, people can have these type of questions. They can put it in the chat. People who are just getting started in real estate investing or thinking about getting started in real estate investing or who's already in and they want to take their game to the next level. Because you know what? Some people probably thought about commercial real estate, Scott, but they were probably nervous. But you reached out and you found this awesome couple who would actually take their time out of their day to talk to us about commercial real estate. And so I know how you love to welcome everybody here. And as we got people from the East Coast, from the West Coast, from all over the United States, Scott, I want to turn it over to you, my friend, so that way you can really introduce our speakers for today.
Well, Keith, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, my friend.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good morning. Good morning, everybody. We are on what? August 2nd. New month started. We're on the eighth month of the year. Wow, this month is flying by fast, isn't it, Keith?
It is.
Well, guys, we do have a great property tour in store for you. Our featured investors today, I've known them for a few years. They're a part of our national community, like Keith and myself, and so many other folks that are on today. And again, we love doing these property tours. We've done them for over 6 years now. And we like Keith said, we love to bring investors from our community out and just share their stories, share what they're doing, and hopefully, I mean, the goal, like, hopefully your goal is as similar as mine, and that anytime I attend a meeting, whether it's online or in person or a networking event, I want to take some golden nuggets away. I want to take some things that I can actually apply to what I'm actually doing. So without further ado, let's bring out Nate and Tabitha.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Thanks for
Uh,
having us.
Amazing. Well, thanks for taking time out and jumping on. So as we start this off, we have a lot of guests on, and that's, really important to kind of share a little bit. I know you guys, but share your stories a little bit, kind of like what your background is, what you were doing, and then kind of how you came across real estate investing and what was it that was like, this is what we need to do. Let's get involved in this. And especially the really important thing is our community, how you found our community and why you wanted to be a part of it.
All right, everybody, buckle up because Tabitha's got this story down pat. This is the one she loves telling, so I'm going to turn
Yes,
it over to her.
yes. There's a few things that my husband, when you get to know us, I have a very strong personality, and he doesn't tell me that I have to do things very much. But let me walk you into this because real estate was something that I didn't want to do. So we are medical by trade. We're from Green Bay, Wisconsin. My husband is a nurse practitioner. I'm a certified nursing assistant. I have my own business taking care of people in their own homes.
Tabitha,
Um,
could you move the microphone towards
oh,
you?
yep. Is that a little bit better?
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, sorry about that. So we're medical by trade. Nate's a nurse practitioner. I'm a certified nursing assistant. I actually left the hospital um, now over 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and I had my own business where I went into people's homes and took care of them, right? And Nate works from home at that time, and our youngest, who now is 14, I think believe was 11 at the time, came and said, "Dad, when do you give him a day off?" And it's like, we need to change. We are not going to chase this corporate carrot. So he says, we're going to get into real estate investing. I'm like, what? We're what? Right? Okay. So we got into a local real estate investing group. Really didn't know what we didn't know. We had a friend who was an investor and a realtor, and we felt like we were missing something when we got into it. So we bought a 1 bedroom, 1 bath condo at the height of the market. Oops, I just dropped something. Sorry. And it was what, $66,000, a 1 bedroom, 1 bath condo, own money, own credit. And I'm like, we are not rich. How are we going to do this? Right. We ended up fixing and flipping that, made $1,500. All right, we're pretty happy. Then we went into a bigger fix and flip, and I just said to Nate, we are missing something. There's not a community piece where you're having by the elbow support, people that have experienced this, and really like tactical, practical things. You love education, I love education, and I need to be educated to know what we're doing. We're moving at that time what we thought was big. $66,000 was big money at that time. Okay, so then we came along, found this community, found the education, and I'm so proud of this. So we bought that 1 bedroom, 1 bath condo in January of 22. Fast forward, what you're going to see now, and we did deals in between there. We bought this motel at $1.2 million February 9th of 23, not using any of our own money. And because of the community, the people that surround us, and the education, we were able to accomplish that and continue to move forward and help other people live their dreams. So going from not wanting to do real estate, you guys, I love real estate because I'm teaching our kids generational wealth, our kids how to move and motivate. And he's an it's greater. Our 14-year-old became a private money lender at age 11. And let me tell you, he is a loan shark, guys. So if you're going to try to lend from him, be careful. So that's our story in a nutshell on how we got started and where we've been.
Awesome. And talk a little bit about why the community and all that. That'd be great.
Yeah. So what you're really great.
Well, yeah, let me chime in on this one because community and the education, I went on the pilgrimage, if you will. I looked at them all. And what I came to the deduction on was we really needed something broad. We need something that was going to tell us about multiple different types of real estate investing. Because, if you're aware of the kind of the stock market analogy, things go up and things go down. Things are not always good forever. And there are over 37 different ways to do real estate investing. So if one's not working out, I can pivot to something else. It's kind of, I know enough to be dangerous. And when I need to know more, I can get that as well. Instead of just hyper focusing on doing one way or doing another that the gurus do. Nothing wrong with that, but then you got to ride the up and down all the way. And that we are firm believers that anybody can be educated, right? The topics that are out here in the world today on anything are not proprietary. You can find it somewhere. The two things are you don't know what the quality is, and you can apply it, but how do you know if you're doing it correctly? And that is the support of the community. That's what you need to help people or help you be successful. Because, listen, guys, nobody does it right and hits a home run on the first swing every time. You're going to need a little bit of feedback. And the amazing people that we've met in the community over the course of time, lifelong friends. Like, I can't even underscore that enough, how they've been integral in our success.
Yeah. And able to pick up the phone when good, bad, or otherwise, and just, our motel, we think about, we jump on calls and we're like, okay, guys, let's be creative in how we can level up in our business. Show us our blind spots. What are we not seeing? What are some market trends? And just having that camaraderie of knowing that you're not alone. So we always talk about the four currencies, right? Time, money, knowledge, and relationships. And I've not met anybody with all four, because we all need each other to be able to thrive and survive. So
that win-win situation is what we drive for.
Very good. Excellent. I appreciate you guys sharing that. So today you have something special to show us. This is one of your deals that you've done. Tabitha, you kind of gave us a little prelude of what you acquired the property for without using any of your own money. Can you say that one more time?
We purchased a motel at $1.2 million, not using any of our own money.
So you've got everybody sitting on the edge of the seat and they're ready for you.
Excellent. All right.
Before we get started, I think it's worth noting, right? Yes, we are in the commercial space, but the community and the education has allowed us to be diverse. We have buy and holds, we've done raw land, we've done private money deals. We've done fix and flips. We've done short-term rental. So that not necessarily the customary point, but it does show the highlight of the ability to be able to pivot. And we are now, I would say, over 30 transactions within the last 3 years, and that is including a property that we just picked up 3 weeks ago. So this is not, while this is our crown jewel, and we're proud of this, we don't sit idle either.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you said that because some people are probably sitting there like, oh, they've been doing this, for all these years, and you kind of put a timestamp on there. Is, can you say that one more time? What was that you
three
said?
years,
3 years.
30 transactions, right? And we're happy to have the discussion about how those necessarily came about. But guys, I can't. This is the one thing. If you take away from anything today, networking is huge, right? There are so many people that are in your corner that maybe are not necessarily doing what you do, but as soon as they learn that you do this, they start bringing you things. Hey, I know so and so that's got this. Are you interested? Right? That's free leads. And it actually it might have been at this show here that you see the picture on. Is the first time that somebody asked us, "What do you do?" And Tabitha's answer out of her mouth was, "We're real estate investors." It wasn't, "Oh, we're medical. Oh, he's a nurse practitioner." That was what she led with. And let me tell you, that conversation was dynamic, right?
Yeah.
You have to identify yourself as
well, and I would say this too, and I find this along our communities, as people come into our community, understand, well, I can get this free on YouTube. I can get this, right? There's a game changer within this because without our education community that we specifically have, there's no skipping steps. It is like going to college. You have to have your base layer. You have to have your entry classes to understand, and then you build. It's how do you get in it? What do you do with it? And then you've got your whole community around, and even our instructors. There's so many of them that we're able to bounce things off of. So it's great. I love it. I never thought we'd be here, guys. 3 years ago, I'd be like, "You're a liar." So,
No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, and it kind of lets people know that this is achievable and doable when you put your mind to it. And y'all definitely put your mind to it. And so now we're ready to kind of dive in about this property, how you found it. I know y'all have a story behind it, so we're ready to hear from you.
All right, here we go.
okay, so also along with my husband, we've got his in-laws, aka my parents, who are also our partners. So we live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They live in Appleton, Wisconsin, about 45 minutes south from us. Now they are finally retired.
Yeah, father-in-law was in the trades, and really what this all came about to was right at the point that we invested into this, had that kind of stock market flux at that point, and he lost several $100,000 in his retirement pension in the matter of 3 months.
$300,000.
Yep, and it was a very eye-opening experience because his personal financial advisor had told him, "Oh, you know what, Marv? Just wait 8 years. It'll come back." And he's like, "I'm retiring. I don't even know if I'm going to be here in 8 years. I don't want to wait that long." And so when, he caught on to the idea, actually went to look at it with us and originally was not going to be in the deal, and then saw the property, saw the metrics, and he's like, my money's going here. And, we're helping them create their future.
So we actually had somebody in the community that was going to come in as a only money partner only and do the $240,000 down payment. And my dad said politely, "Can you please go tell your friend to go do a different deal with you guys because I'm taking my money." So we're like, fine.
Now, I do have to make sure I put this caveat in, right? While our community is fantastic, we do not sit here and say that anybody is going to loan any money to anybody. There is no requirement for that. This was just connections we had built, right?
Yep.
So we have that, and then we said, okay, we found this property. I'm gonna let Tab tell the story about how we came across this gem.
Okay, so I may not look it, but I am a quarter Japanese, and I grew up on anime, and this before any subtitles or anything, and I don't understand Japanese, guys. And fast forward, our youngest son, Harper, who's the money lender, wanted to go to an anime convention. And I'm like, I cannot believe you're making me go to this, but that's okay. So I was bored. We're sitting down in Chicago, and I'm like, you know what? The kids are just having a blast. And it was cool to see, but I'm like, I can work. This is an opportunity. So we find almost most of our properties and deals off market. So I'm very love Facebook. I get on, I'm starting to talk, and I'm in this group, and this was posted, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. So Boulder Junction, I was teasing him. I said, "Do you want to own a motel?"
And
he
my
was
answer was, "Are you nuts?"
just a little. And so, anyways, I'm like, he's like, "Where is it?" I'm like, Boulder Junction. He's like, "You need to call James." Well, James is my best friend from childhood, and if you could see in the back of the corner of the picture, there's boats. He owns the marina next door, guys. Which I didn't put it all together because I'm like, well, he lives up in Mercer. This doesn't make sense. He goes, "All right, call James." I called James and said, "Hey, bud, what's with this motel?" He goes, "Buy it." And I said, "You said way too quick." He's like, "Right next door." Well, what happens is in the winter, they rent out snowmobiles, and where you see that big patch of grass in the front where the sign is, people rent snowmobiles, park there, and then stay with us. And so our businesses are very synergistic. Boaters like to be there, then they go get stuff from the marina and whatnot. So from there, we called the owners, got on the phone with him within 15 minutes, and from there, motion was set forward.
So talking about this, we're throwing out cities, right? And you're kind of like, I have no idea even where Wisconsin is, let alone Boulder Junction. Boulder Junction, if you look at the map, right north central, right very close to the border of Upper Michigan. It is a town of 900 people at the peak in the summer. Okay, it's small, and you are in the middle of God's country, as we put it. It is an outdoor paradise. There are 1,300 lakes. You'll hear more about this, but so much to do. And so the property itself is a 20-unit motel with a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment attached to it. And the apartment was being used previously by the previous owner's children. They were living on site and caring for the property. And the motel itself is all interior access, which is great for what we do because it gives that hotel-ish vibe. It really allows everything to be interior and keep the people in the warm space, especially in the winter. So again, about the area though, snowmobiling right in the winter is massive. The snowmobile actually the trail is right on our property. So that's why it's amazing that we have the marina next door. They rent, or people just bring their own, and they drive right out the doorstep onto the trails. The 1,300 lakes that are in the 2-county radius, mostly in the 1 county actually, are amazing. They're world-class fisheries. This is the world capital for the muskie, which is a 60 to 72 inch, very long fish that only feeds 15 minutes a day in a 24-hour period. So if you hook into one of those, it's a story to say the least. And then, of course,
it's not a cute looking fish.
It is not.
Look it up. It's not.
Generally not one you would eat, but it's a battle, let me tell you. And there are 52 miles of paved e-bike and mountain bike trails. There is a company that some of you may know by the name of Uline. Uline offers a lot of industrial type products, business operation things. You need a garbage can, you need garbage bags, all these things, chairs. You get it from Uline. The owner's actually from the area, and she pours money greatly into making this the paradise that it is. And so, short of anything outdoors, let me tell you, it's available to do in this area. So going into the deal itself, right? When we found this, it was listed for 1.375, and it had been on the market for close to 1 year. The listing ended up expiring, and as it expired, that's when we spoke to the actual owner itself. And we set up a time to go meet with them. And through negotiations, we were able to wiggle it down. But guys, you got to understand that there's a difference between residential stuff and commercial, right? Commercial does not go on the appraisal of the building. Commercial goes on the building's performance of the business inside of it. So you can have a brand new building, but a rotten business inside of it not able to generate any money, and your building is not worth what it appraises for typically. Vice versa, you can have a rickety old shack, and if you're running a $10 million business out of it, let me tell you, that thing's worth something, right? And so we had to learn across the way about how to evaluate business as well as the property and put those two together to come to a point of what we were willing to offer.
So if I can step in for a minute. So at this point, when we're just getting into this, right? Here's where the education came in. Went in, we did what we needed to do, figured out our foundation of it. Okay, we did a few deals in between there. And here's the cool part. Just like this, we're on Zoom. We got on a mastermind with other investors, some new, but a lot of vetted investors that were in commercial, different businesses. And we're like, okay, guys, pick this apart. We had what, 3 or 4 different masterminds. We had 150 different unique, so individuals picking our deal apart to see what were our blind spots, what were things that were missing. I mean, there was things like an Alta survey. I was like, what do we got to get? What is that? Speak English, right? And understanding what are our blind spots and making sure that we had all the boxes checked before we went into something like this.
So as we were going for financing for this, well, and before we get to that point, because this was an off-market deal and we negotiated this between the sellers and ourselves, we were able to bring that down $175,000. But that's not the only place we saved money. Is because we were able to demonstrate that this would be more advantageous for the seller to do off-market, guys, because we didn't use a realtor and we used a lawyer instead. We saved $87,000 in commission on that deal. And that allowed us to go, I mean, literally, I think the lawyer fee was like $6,000 to get all the paperwork drawn up and whatnot. And that's at $400 an hour.
And side note, we have friends that are realtors. We believe in realtors.
Sure.
There's a time and place for everything. However, when you're going into certain things, it's off market. There's just a time and a place.
Absolutely. So we ended up financing through a local bank on a commercial loan. Commercial notes on a property like this are almost always 20-year terms. They wanted 20% down. In that time of market, people were looking for 25 to 30% down. So 20% down was huge. They are almost always 5-year adjustable rates. So, we will have to refinance at the end of 5 years. And we had a 7.35% rate, which at the time was competitive. They're probably a little bit better right now in the commercial market. But another interesting point is that typically when you're in hospitality and you're in these types of transactions, the banks want to know you have prior experience. We had none. And because of how we structured our pitch, our pro forma, which is our projections, our business plan, and the resources that we had available to help us, this bank was willing to allow us the opportunity to take it on.
Well, we were also, my friend that's next door to us with his marina also vouched for us and said,
Correct.
hey, these are good people.
Yep.
They'll get it done.
Yes.
So,
and so relationships do matter, right?
Y'all dropped so much right there. I just wanted to just pause for a quick second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You talked about learning. You
Yeah.
talked about a community. And you had 150 people look at this deal, pick at it, through every curveball. If everybody in the chat, would you like for like 150 people to pick apart your deal before you actually put in the deal? I mean, just put something in the chat, yes or no. That right there is awesome to have that support structure, because I probably think that gave y'all confidence moving forward. Is that fair?
Oh, 100%. We were begging for them to call our baby ugly.
Yeah.
Because honestly, this was our ability, our safety net to understand what are we getting into. Now, of course, no investment is 100% safe, right? You can't ever say that. And as we lovingly say in real estate investing, the answer is always, it depends, right? But that being said, we felt much more comfortable going into this. And to be honest with you, I'm playing with my in-laws' money, which adds another level to the pucker factor. Not that anybody else's money is any less important, but, I mean, the thing is we got a very intimate relationship with these people, right?
Yeah, they know where you
So that
live,
being
right?
said, yep, right, that's true. Um, so, that being said, I mean, we were able to secure this and move forward. And honestly, I have to say this. The one thing that we had to really prove to the bank was the reason why they were going to consider not lending to us was whether we were going to be able to find cleaners for the facility because of the workforce up there. And we had to demonstrate that as the condition of lending, which is, not common at all.
Yeah, because you don't
Um,
get that in a residential. They don't say, well, based on cleaning. So that actually, that's another golden nugget you just laid down. Thank you for sharing.
Right. So we talked a little bit in the previous operations. It was owner occupied, staffed by the owners. They didn't do any advertising whatsoever. It was all word of mouth. The motel's been there since 1992. So we are now the third owners of the motel. And the rates were silly below market rates. They were 89 a night at the time. This was 2023. They had a great occupancy rate of 65%. And a lot of that was generated because of post COVID. Everybody got into wanting to get outdoors and do the thing. And so their net operating income was a little over $111,000 as per their taxes. And yes, guys, when you're doing a deal like this, absolutely you ask to see their taxes. That is expected. If they've got something to hide, that's a red flag. They should not have any problem about disclosing that truthfully and in a confidential manner. So we had this and we said, well, we got a viable business here. That really went into what we were doing. But we said, guess what? We're not moving up there. That's 3.5 hours from Green Bay. And we're rooted here. And so we can't live on site, but we could do something different with this. And we can run it autonomously from afar. So if you got that little handheld computer in your hand called the cell phone, that's how we run this operation. If you've ever stayed at a short-term rental, Airbnb, Verbo, whatever have you, you book online, you usually get some kind of codes that are pushed to you, and that's exactly how we set this up. So we have 21 short-term rentals is how we see it in a building. And so we replaced all the locks. We put digital locks on the doors, gated entry into the facility. We put cameras up, and we just said, hey, here's what we're doing is we want to automate this as much as we can. We want to bring in outside entities to help us run this, like the cleaners and maintenance that are local. And then we want to go ahead and optimize those rents, the occupancy, and do this in the most efficient manner that we can do. Through that, we had to change some of the business operations. They were doing laundry on site. And let me tell you guys, I wouldn't stay there knowing what they did before. Especially in a post-COVID era, cleanliness was really the key. It always is the key, but we really wanted to hyper focus on that. So we outsourced our laundry to a commercial cleaning company who delivers the linens to us and takes care of that for us and allows our cleaners to just go in, do their thing, and get out. And it was a great transition for us. Now, of course, any property needs a little bit of uplift, right? So the biggest one, you're going to see pictures on this shortly. We did spend quite a bit on renovating the apartment with the intention that we were going to be renting that out. Now, when we go up there, if it's available, do we stay? Yes, of course. But the novelty of the apartment is we got king size beds in there, and then in the hotel rooms we got queen. We have a full kitchen, and all the creature amenities there that aren't necessarily available in the motel. So that comes as a premium. The security cameras, I think we have 13 cameras on site. And they're there for people's protection. We in Wisconsin cannot record sound, so we're not sitting here snooping on anybody. I got better things to do with my time. But when things go down, which fortunately that's not the case up there, there's protection there. We did upgrade the Wi-Fi system because, ironically, in this small town, we got better Wi-Fi there, fiber internet there than we do in Green Bay. And so we wanted to take advantage of that. People want that, that work vacation. They want to go up there. They got 1 gig internet that they can utilize, no problem. The wireless door locks, we did miss some landscaping. We did replace all the beds. We initially put in $55,000. So you know, that said, I'm going to turn it over to Tab here, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit about, what this looked like before, and then where we took it to.
And there's a
Hey,
couple of
hey
questions that
Nate,
came in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you
go
guys got.
go ahead, Keith. Go ahead.
So there are a couple of questions came in real quick. Was it was asking about the bank. How long did it take for the bank to close on the commercial loan? That was kind of a.
Commercial loans take a little bit longer, and a lot of that is always because of your due diligence and you're working into the deal. The bank was, as soon as we set on a price, the bank was ready to close within 90 days. The entire process, I would say, took about 180.
Yes.
Okay. And
Starting negotiations to closing.
was it at like a local bank or a national bank? Which one
Yep,
do you feel like works better?
it was a local bank. We are big, again, we're big on relationships. And so the local banks really do want to pour back into the community and sometimes intimately understand the dynamics. Whereas if we went with a bigger bank, a Wells Fargo, a US Bank, whatever have you, they might not be able to fully understand what we're trying to do in the area because they may not necessarily understand the area. This is 100% tourism up here, guys. And so there isn't another industry to support it. So they need to really be willing to dive deep and take that risk, if you will, along with us. So just as much as they're buying the property, they're buying you.
Awesome. And you talked about how you built a relationship with the attorney. Was that attorney like a real estate attorney or a tax attorney? What type of attorney?
So yeah, so definitely have your different types of attorneys, so know that, right? And we had a real estate attorney before that did great. However, we needed somebody that dealt with commercial real estate, and it's a whole different ball game. And there was a lot of things that he taught us that we knew. The education got us so far, but then you dig in. I mean, there's these, you can't know everything right off of video, and this is where you build your team. You better have your accounting ready, your lawyer ready, like in all your different junctures of your journey. So yes, our attorney was very versed in real estate and also business because this is real estate and a business. So we had to have the two-headed monster.
And I have to be clear, guys. If you understand the joke, what do you call a lawyer that finishes last in their class? It's still lawyer, right? And that's not to slight on anybody, but the reality is no profession, nobody in any profession is all created equal. So it behooves anybody to actually interview these people and find out, what the education taught us is that we understood better how to vet these people. Are they really just telling us a bunch of smoke and screen to make it sound like they know what they're talking about? Or can I vet that this is really the person for us? And we put a couple of lawyers through the ringer before we settled on this one. Yeah, he's a bit more expensive, but he was absolutely worth it.
Still working with
Awesome.
today.
Thank you. And then I know you about to show us some pictures as you go through. There was a question about like, your advertisement, how did you advertise and stuff like that. So
I'm going to direct you to our marketing department right here, and she will go through that.
awesome.
So with advertising, so understanding that your Google search is huge. Your search optimization is massive. We what and it's going to be in here 95% of our bookings are direct.
Yes.
That is big as a business owner.
That's not big. That's unheard of. When you're in the short-term rental space and you're advertising a place like this, you also choose to put yourself out there on other sites. Like, we're on booking.com, we're on Verbo. There's a number of other sites that you can be on, and that ends up being typically 20 to 25% of their business. Whereas direct bookings to the actual website, to the actual company is, the mainstay, but not as much as that. Ours is 95%, which means we don't have money flying out the door to pay the fees of all these other sites to bring us business. That's cash in our pocket, which is great.
And so Facebook, I absolutely love Facebook. A lot of it, actually all of it has been organic marketing on my personal page, reaching out to people, getting in groups. And then my dad, who is 66 years old, who was extremely annoyed with me years ago about social media because it's definitely a generational gap. And as you see, my dad's got these loud Hawaiian shirts, and my dad would come up with his orange shirt, green shorts, blue hat. I'm like, you don't match, go back in. And he's like, well, why don't you ask your Facebook friends? And he realized the power of Facebook and community, right? And so actually now, this last winter, my dad's a huge snowmobiler. He's like, well, how about if I give trail reports? I'm like, great, that's content. Thank you. And now he'll be out and about and they know him as Marvy. Marvy with your snow trail reports. And now he's doing bike reports.
Well, and here's the best part.
Great.
It's free. And other businesses up there are sharing it to their audiences because nobody else was doing it.
Nobody else is doing it.
And so this is expanding our reach. It was amazing. Right?
That's very cool.
If you need to see an example, we're on Facebook. Take a look at it. But you know, they're it's great.
It's great. Yeah. All right.
So, all right.
Go ahead.
If I could jump in real quick.
Yeah.
For folks who may not be in the short-term rental business, and if you're in the short-term rental business already, you can type in yes down below, but 95% direct bookings is like, you must be lying. I mean, that's like crazy. People would just foam at the mouth to be able to get 95% direct bookings. That's just amazing. You guys you're knocking it out of the park, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I had to throw that out.
I appreciate that.
I'm
we're very, very proud of that. And, you know, we take care of our customers, right? And so, you know, I wish I had the metrics on hand about return customer rates, but we got a very strong base of customers that have turned over and are staying with us now. That has been fantastic.
Sure. Yep. We'll give you the tour of the before photos.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so this is the living room, carpeting and whatnot. They had cats, dogs.
This is the apartment side.
This is the main bedroom. Second bedroom. Bathroom.
So they were very fancied on carpet. We're not. And you know, it's especially if there's going to be pets involved, there needs to be a level of cleanliness that's there. So, you know, if you see, it's got a little bit of an older vibe, but again, you know, there's a lot of wood throughout, a lot of, you know, trying to be a little Northwoods backwoods feel type situation. So this isn't going to be your 5-star place, but we also have to remember that the people that are coming up here are looking for comfort. They're not looking for, you know, to take their selfies inside the motel because this is the most Taj Mahal place they've been. And they're out in the environment and they're enjoying the outdoors, which is where we want them to be. When they're exhausted from the end of the day, we want them to be comfortable and say, wow, I had a great night's sleep. I rested great. I'm going back there.
So actually, you advance as I'm
go ahead.
Would be great.
Yeah.
So one thing we did with the beds, right? Here's a little hack that happened was we were shopping for our own personal furniture, and I found a sales gentleman at Ashley Furniture. We became good friends, and I'm like, all right, I'm always like, what deal can you give me? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And we were able to do things like, for example, a 0% business card to go and furnish these places, right? And he gave us huge discounts. It actually went up all the way to corporate at Ashley Furniture because we were buying such a big bulk of things. So the whole apartment was furnished with Ashley Furniture, all the beds in the motel. And so we get a lot of compliments and pillows, a lot of compliments on our cleanliness and comfort.
So to highlight in this line of business, in any line of business, the answer is always no unless you ask. So there's no shame in asking for a discount. There's no shame in asking, what can you do for me? I'm buying in bulk, you know, all these things. And that's where you start unlocking these abilities to lower that bottom dollar. In all reality, that $55,000 that we spent probably should have been a lot more. And what you'll see in the after.
And the reason why Ashley is great is that it also we get warranties with it. So I do know that a lot of people buy off of Amazon Walmart. Totally fine. It's just this was the best avenue for us.
Now you see here there was the apartment side. There's a bathroom here. There was carpet in the bathroom. I don't know.
I see that. I see it.
It was disgusting. I don't know that I would do that.
It looks like it's like the indoor outdoor carpeting.
It almost was. It was commercial glue down.
Oh gosh!
Yeah. So there wasn't a level of comfort there at all. So you know, we really had to do some things. This is a basement area that has that we did end up capitalizing on. You might not see a picture, but it does have an egress window. There you go. So we can claim that as a third bedroom, which is fantastic. So take note of the doors and how they look. It was old physical keys. which got lost all the time. And so either I was going to pay, a couple bucks a key all the time to be replacing them, or we were going to come into the current century. So you can see here that this is, our motel as it stands today. It probably looks a little better than that even today. And this is our lobby. When you walk into this, you really get that outdoor feel. There are a number of mounted animals from the wildlife there. This center area with the tile used to have a fireplace. Unfortunately, the fireplace was not functional any longer. It was a gas fireplace. We did end up having to remove it because it was a hazard. And where this windows are, you're going to see another picture. It used to be a hot tub. And it was great that we had a hot tub until it cost a lot to have a hot tub. And after we sunk about $15,000 into repairing it, we said, no more are we going to do the money pit, because literally nobody was sitting in it anyway. So, we decided to kind of convert some of that space. My father-in-law is a huge snowmobiler, so we allowed him to pick the decor for the common area. And you'll see, he has done nothing short of capitalizing on his passion. But also in that area is actually the World Snowmobile Hall of Fame. So, it really goes in coincides with the area. So it's not like it's out of place. Now, in that particular room that had this is the hot tub area, we said, you know what, we want to do something to help people relax for the time. So we partnered with a company to bring massage chairs in. Here's the best part. These didn't cost us anything either. We make half of what they make, and the company fronts the cost on putting these in place. And so Tabitha arranged a really cool deal with what we do with the proceeds of this.
So it's a $1 to $20 massage, whatever you'd like to do. But what we do is we donate all the proceeds to the local volunteer firefighter department. So we have fire service. So we help them every 6 months. I think we end up donating, and I think the last time was this last year was over $600 was able to be given to them.
Yep. And so that's our commitment to being a part of the community, right? Because the biggest misnomer is, well, you don't live out in sight, so you're never here. Well, that's not true. We are here, and we're very much a part of the community. So here, stepping into our rooms, we still have the bit of that rustic feel. I'll tell you, what it looks like now is not what you see here. This was what we were using for bedspreads before.
Oh, we still have the main rooms.
We are upgrading them,
yep.
And let me tell you, they look a little bit better than this. I'm happy about it. However, they're all super clean. They're queen beds in the motel rooms, and we replaced all the mattresses and the pillows. And people absolutely rave about the quality and the comfort of it. Guys, if people are having a good night's rest, that is the number one thing that they're going to talk about. Right? We love the mattresses so much, we bought it for our own because we thought it was so good. Right?
So the other things behind the scenes that people don't see is we did mechanics, all new heater ACs. Actually, the rest we did half last year, half this year. So it all goes in sequence. Brand new water softener. So when people come, we actually get comments on how well their skin is, because with it being well water up there, a lot of places they stay, people get itchy and whatnot.
You can see here that we have a dormitory style refrigerator in here. There are no microwaves in the rooms themselves. However, in the back in the lobby area, there are several. We did replace all of the refrigerators as well. You can see the heaters there over by the window. And yes, that is snow for those of you that maybe haven't seen that in quite some time. And we have replaced all the heaters. That was above and beyond the $55,000 that we've done. We took our profits and bootstrapped that back into upgrading all of the essentials. Again, some rooms have, this one's got a pull-out couch in it. The bathroom is decently spacious. There are jetted tubs in some of them. And, again, this is what we call our honeymoon suite. So we do honeymoon suite. I go with that one. And we've got a big jetted tub in here where, we're able to charge a little bit more of a premium for this particular room than the rest of the others. Now, if you remember the apartment, this is what it looks like now. and the carpet is gone. It is much brighter in there. We really just wanted to soften it up and make it so much more comfortable. And I love staying there when we go. This is that basement area, and so theoretically we could sleep 8, maybe 10 people in here. We keep it at 6 because we want to make sure that people have the ability to stretch out. And there is only one bathroom at the moment, so on that side. But these are all king size beds, and so if people are saying, you know what, queens don't do it for me, guess what? We got something for you. You remember the carpet that was in the bathroom? That's gone. And then our digital lock system, right? So you see the one on the left is our gated entry in the very front door. We have some side access doors that are exterior, and then on the right is the interior access. That was a learning curve for some of our folks because our previous guests, their average age, I'd say, was probably 75. And they were not fancied on the idea of us replacing from the keys. We did, unfortunately, we did lose some customers by the way we chose to run our business. But we also gained new customers. And, the whole idea is we want to pick people who are going to be with us for the next 25 years. Nothing against anybody, but we did want to make sure that we're coming up with the times. And this has saved a lot of headaches for us. Our Wi-Fi system on the left, our camera system on the right. And then we have a fish cleaning station in one of our garages.
I love it.
Yeah. And so when you're out enjoying the outdoors, and if you're a catch and keep kind of person, you can come on here, you can clean up your fish. And then we even have a freezer down on the left that you can barely see, that you can keep your catch there until you decide to go home. Now, this is free of.
I got a question for you, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So is that tape measure there long enough to measure the fish I'm going to catch when I come up?
It is long enough to measure even the world record muskie. Absolutely.
Okay.
Although I don't know that we've ever had a muskie in there that I'm aware of, right? And so this is a great amenity for our outdoorsmen. And to be honest with you, we love our outdoorsmen because they treat the place so well, right? Nobody's coming in and trashing it and causing any ruckus. So we did put up a bike shed after we picked it up because, again, we have a lot of bikers that come in and they kept bringing their bikes in our facility. We don't want that mud in there. And then those new e-bikes, actually by our insurance policy, we can't have them in there because the batteries can combust and start on fire and we don't need them to burn down our building. So we decided to give them a place for that to stay. Ironically, you don't have to lock your doors up there. We give them the ability for the security, but people leave tens of thousands of dollars of snowmobiles outside, no problem. And then we did decide to become pet friendly. No other places up there were capitalizing on this. So we said, we'll segregate a couple of our rooms, take 5 of them and make them dog-friendly rooms. We charge a premium, $25 per dog per night, up to 2, that you can bring in and in those particular rooms. And it's been a great revenue generator for us. But we also accommodate the people that don't want to be around dogs. They have allergies, whatever. So we're catching both crowds. So here's the actual numbers, where we stand today. Last year, that NOI is right around 112,000. What's interesting this year is currently, as of yesterday, we're at 1,000 booking days for this year. In 2024, we had 1,300. So we're on pace to break that. That's great. And we've made about $143,000 in gross revenue to this point. Our current occupancy, 49%. This last month alone, we made $46,000. So really picked up over the summer. We talked about a direct book site booking rate. And guys, if you don't know what a cost segregation study is, it's in our education. We took full advantage of this. The laws are on the side of the investor, okay? And we are now able to take back so much in our own money because of depreciation. Long of the short is that commercial properties depreciate at, I believe it is 39 years. And so you get 1/39th every year of the value of that property and what's inside of it taken off on your taxes if you do nothing. If you do a cost segregation study, it goes in and it says, hey, you know what? Your carpet's going to wear out in 5 years. We're going to accelerate how much that you can recapture. Your electrical is going to be 15 years. All these things are done in a report. And in the last 2 years, we have been able to take back $141,000 on our taxes, whereas it probably should have been, I don't know, about 50. That was a massive change that allowed us to change our personal taxes and get, even bigger refunds
Well,
and keep money in
and let me
pocket.
lean on that just for a moment. So not only the education, so obviously we knew about that. Then we had community members who are tax preparers, people who are private money who are very well versed in this. Who actually, when my parents like tell your friend to go do a different deal with you guys, come on in, understanding what the tax strategies of when my dad should pull his money, and then understanding the cost segregation. They were giving us all tidbits on when we should land. And of course, going to our accountant guys because that is what they do in vetting them.
Now, it is worth noting here, if you were a student watching the numbers, you'd say, hey, you know what? The NOI is the same and that occupancy rate's a little lower. What gives, right? Well, last year was a really rough year up there. And so what happened is our snowmobile trails were not open at all. First time ever in Wisconsin history that we can remember. And so that was a real put on the chin for us that we have now pivoted in how we do our business. And we're doing other alternative things. And hey, you know what? Things happen. But it did not cause us to, default and go away from this. We love what we do, and we're coming back even stronger because of it. So Boulder Junction Motor Lodge, this is our place. I like the snow. I don't love the snow. You know what? So looking at this picture at this time of the year might be a little aggravating, but because it's our property in the background, we love it.
Nate, we might have some people on that are a little intimidated by that because they don't know if they've ever been there at that much snow before.
It's a good thing I transitioned away from that triggering picture then. Yes.
Yeah, I was say, man, y'all dropped a lot of nuggets. I mean, so many nuggets. Just to hear how you even pivot, you learn. So one of the things I really like about our community, and I like, the conversations of being around investors, doing the thing that you want to do, right? Having those conversations, building those relationships, we learn and do. And I just love that because there's a lot of people out there who watch things on YouTube, right? And they sit down and say, okay, I'm going to start watching this, and then 2 minutes later they're watching like dogs and cats and fishing, and they get distracted, right? But I like how our community kind of keep us kind of focused, and we collaborate and then implement, because a lot of people say, well, I can watch this, I can read this book, but it doesn't show you how to implement. You don't have those conversations or having 150 people coming to you, having a conversation, and something else popped up on the screen there. Not sure where that came from. But I just really like how we kind of come together. We probably knock that one down, Scott, if you don't mind.
I don't know where that came from.
All right, no problem.
That's like an outside individual.
Yeah, that's my buddy Alvin. He's part of our community. It's gone now. There you go.
All right, there we go. So, but the whole point is the implementation. So we're getting towards the end. First, I just want to say just thank you for just taking your time out and kind of walking it through, because some of us we're thinking about commercial, but I'm gonna tell you, that intimidation, right? Ooh, I don't know, $1 million. Oh my gosh, where am I gonna get it from? And then what you show, what a lot of people talk about is generational wealth or family business. You just shared that, and it was like, huh, that is really awesome how y'all kind of work together as a family, learn, and then you do. So there's so much we can keep going on and on and on about this. And we just don't have that much time. But Scott, I'll turn over to you.
No, I'm thinking the same thing, Keith. We could have made this a 6-hour thing or 4-hour deal and covered like all the different layers and the processes from how you got it financed to the insurance. Someone asked the question, how difficult was it to get it insured?
Yeah.
It's not when you got a guy.
When you got a guy.
Yeah. So our guy is very thorough. We do not have short-term rental insurance per se, as you would normally see it as a single family or whatever. We have actual hospitality insurance.
Hospitality insurance. Okay.
I want to say this. So again, because of our connections, and we also ran a nonprofit, had a commercial building on that end as renters. So we had that experience. Normally you would not get insurance. You'd have to bring in a partner with experience. So we've been told that twice throughout our deal. Wow, that's amazing because your connections and who you guys are and our track record of what we've done. but it's nuances. And a lot of times as a new investor, you would need to have a partner that had experience.
You know, I think this stands to be said. Our motel is so unique that in the terms of laws, even locally, it is classified as a motel, but we get to toe the line with the short-term rental rules, and we play between both because of how we run it. Other places are very fixed in either the short-term rental rules or the hospitality rules, and that has given us a lot of laterality to be able to do things that are,
Awesome.
yeah, you know what I mean? You got to ask.
Well, I
Well,
think
Yeah.
you know what? It was interesting, right? Because as an investor, we help solve problems, right? Well, you
Right.
solved the problem for that area, but we didn't really touch about it. But I just wanted to bring it up, what y'all doing. You also helping the city, because when people come in, they buy things.
Yes.
There's other than you help them bring revenue to that area as an investor. And I just want to say thank y'all. I mean, the city's part of thank you. So they
Oh
said, you know
yeah.
what? Let's work together, right? So they understand your business model, and y'all was able to wrap that together. But we can just keep going and going and going. But
I know.
you know what?
We
There's a couple of things here, right? So there's some people here today who really want to understand what we're talking about. I would just say, just reach out to the person who invited you to this meeting and really get plugged. Ask them those questions, like, how do I get plugged in to what I was hearing? How do I take that next step? Or if I'm already doing real estate, how do I take it to the next level? Ask the person who invited you to this meeting and have those conversations. And like in October, just to let you know, we all three of us, right here at four, right? We're all gonna be in Utah in October on purpose to get together, collaborate, learn more real estate investing for 3 days. It's like 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So like people say, how do you connect? How do you network? You need to be in those places where they meet. So good
absolutely.
opportunity. So again, hey, this has been really awesome, Scott. If it wasn't for you, I mean, putting this together, we wouldn't hear stuff like this. And I'm just so excited. And then, as we about to leave, you know, if you can share some words of wisdom as y'all was talking, y'all was probably, thinking about some things. I should probably say this, I should say that. You know what? We just want to give you that time because there's some folks who are still looking, getting started in real estate investing, interested. There's some people who's actually doing it, but they want to take it to the next level. What words of encouragement would you want to leave with us before we leave here today?
I guess I'm going first with that one. Here's the reality, guys. You're always going to feel like you don't know enough. You might even have the proverbial imposter syndrome, right? But if you don't take a chance, your failure rate will be 100%. And so if you want to achieve success, you've got to try. And if you want to win in trying, surround yourself with the people who are going to run with you.
I would agree with that. And I'd say, here's the thing, be in action, right? This is not a get rich quick. It is a long haul. It is something, if you're going to commit and go all in. And then do your education, rely on the community, and just check the steps. And before you know it, you're going to be sitting on this side and inspiring others to create the life of their dreams with their families and creating generational wealth.
Well, guys, what a great way to wrap this up today. And you said something earlier on, Tabitha, that that we've talked about in our community for I heard it the first day I met this community, and I'm sure you did too, where we talk about the four currencies. We talk about time and money and knowledge and relationships. And I did have a mindset when I first found this community that, it was all for me. It was all about money and time. The harder I worked, the more hundreds of hours a week I worked, the more money I made, the farther I got ahead. And then I figured it out. It's about knowledge and relationship. It's about applying that knowledge. It's about building those relationships. And you guys have done exactly that. You've talked about relationships and knowledge at least a dozen times in this hour today. So kudos to you. And we appreciate you guys on. It only took me a year and a half to get you guys out. Is it
Blame
going to
that
take
on our child. How's that?
Is it going to take me a year and a half to get you back?
Well,
No.
No, and because we are currently working on a deal in the same area for employee housing, so that might be a great parlay onto this. But we've got a couple other deals we can talk.
Okay. Wait a minute. I'm writing this down.
It's recorded. It's recorded.
You
right?
got it in stone.
Okay, well, let's let everybody go. We appreciate everybody being on. Nate, Tabitha, thanks for taking time out today.
Thank you for
Keith,
having us.
you're amazing, brother. What a great co-host. I'm so glad you're on these with us. And for everybody on today, have a blessed weekend. We'll be back next Saturday with another very powerful property tour, and we look forward to seeing you all again. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, guys.